This is my review of In the Pale Moonlight, the 6th season episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. With the Federation continuing to suffer devastating losses at the hands of the Dominion, Cisco devises a desperate, morally questionable plan to turn the tide of the war. In the Pale Moonlight is a standout episode and a real milestone moment for the show. It challenges what we think we know about the future, the Federation, and also the people who we call our heroes. It's provocative, morally complex, and in my opinion, might be the best episode of this show, and arguably the entire franchise. This is DS9 at its most DS9iest. Over the years, the show has developed a cult following, not only for its sharp focus on characterization, but also for its willingness to break the traditional Trek mold. While other shows leaned into the optimism first established in the original series, Deep Space Nine was always far more comfortable exploring the darker side of these ideals. It never fell into the grimdark dystopia that we get far too much of these days, but it wasn't afraid to make the concession that while things might be better in the future, it's likely we'll never fully overcome the complications of our modern society. And this episode is the perfect encapsulation of that approach. At the centre of the episode is Cisco telling the story via a personal log, which forms the episode's framing device. Right from the start, it's clear that this is a pretty different kind of episode. This is a man alone coming to terms with what he's done, his personal log almost serving as some sort of sci-fi confessional. Pretty intriguing stuff. Through a series of flashbacks, what unfolds turns out to be one of Trek's most morally challenging stories, with Cisco increasingly desperate with the Dominion War going badly, devising a plan to manipulate the Romulans into joining the war. It's a dangerous plan, one that could end in disaster if it goes wrong. There's something deeply troubling watching Cisco compromising his values, decision after decision, move after move, bending regulations, forging evidence, even bribing Quark, and in the end, becoming complicit in murder. This isn't what our heroes should be doing. This isn't the behaviour of an enlightened man of the future. Even Kirk, Mr. Cowboy Diplomacy himself, would probably have something to say about all of this. Avery Brooks gives what might be his best performance of the entire series, and that's saying a lot. For some strange reason, he's an actor who divides opinion. I've seen fans argue that he's the worst captain of the lot, but I've never understood why people would think that. I love what Brooks brings. He has an uncanny ability to inject a tremendous sense of feeling into his performances. He has an almost jazz-like rhythm to his voice that I find simultaneously commanding and reassuring. But more importantly, he's able to make Cisco feel both aspirational and yet also very relatable at the same time. And all of this is shown perfectly here. This is a man who, on the surface, remains strong and resolute, but inside is unraveling as a result of his actions. It's a terrific performance that combines intensity, vulnerability, and incredible restraint, and I love it very much. Just as crucial is Garrick. Andrew Robinson is always excellent, but here he takes it to a whole new level. If Cisco is the heart and soul of this story, then Garrick is undoubtedly its cold, calculated logic, doing all the things that have to be done, committing some pretty horrific acts to achieve their goal. And all this leads to the fantastic scene at the end where Cisco, outraged over how far things have gone, confronts Garrick. It's a great moment with two fantastic performances. You really feel Cisco's rage over his complicity in something no Starfleet officer should ever be involved in. But, and this is where the episode hits in a really uneasy way, you kinda get Garrick's side too. Garrick is the necessary evil. His actions are explained as the price that had to be paid, the murder of two people being a relative bargain to save trillions of lives. It's a chilling moment that blurs the line between hero and villain. Not only does Garrick truly believe what he's done is justified, but deep down Cisco does too, And so do we. The episode's final moments might be my favourite of the entire show. Cisco wraps up his log, coming to terms with all the things that he's done, echoing Garrick's sentiment that his actions, while terrible, were necessary. He says he can live with it, but can he? There's just enough in this scene and in Brooks's delivery to suspect that this might not be the case. It's almost as if he's trying to convince himself. Was he successful? We'll never know. It's a brilliant ending, chilling with that final line and that sharp cut to black. A jarring and uncomfortable end to a deeply challenging episode, and I love the absolute shit out of it. What's really impressive about the episode, this aside, is how little it relies on spectacle. A lot is said about Deep Space Nine's epic battle scenes, and while I think most of them still look pretty great today, they can't compare to the quieter, more character-driven stuff. So much of this episode is just taking place in rooms, the bulk of the action being conspiracies and shady deals. It's a great example of the idea of show but don't tell being successfully turned on its head. Over the hour, we hear a lot about death, the Dominion's relentless invasion, their successful capture of Beta Z, and later in Vreenek's scathing assessment of the war, which communicates the situation far better than any exploding ships ever could. And it's in all this implication where the episode is so strong. The episode perfectly examines the hidden mechanics of war, the dubious actions of a few powerful men that ultimately shape entire empires. Wars are rarely won like they are in the movies. There's no big triumphant battle here. The fight isn't fought with a phaser, but rather with secrets and lies and very questionable choices. In the Pale Moonlight is a masterpiece of an episode. It distills everything that makes Deep Space Nine so great into a single 45-minute episode. Rich character-driven drama, bold thematic exploration, and yes, lots of shades of grey. It asks hard questions and refuses to give us easy answers. It's an episode that's stuck with me for years, and while it might not be everyone's cup of tea, it does invite important debate about things like ethics, leadership, and what our future might realistically actually look like. Depressing. A phenomenal piece of television. A stone-cold classic. I'm giving In the Pale Moonlight a 10 out of 10. But what did you think of this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? How would you rate it? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more Star Trek reviews, and until next time, live long and prosper.